that was fascinating to be able to create objects from nothing and being able to feel that you were in there and really experience those new spaces and be really creative in that. And I really wanted to make that type of experience available for as many people as possible. And from there, it's kind of evolved to what kind of technology are available to make sure that the machine can really understand what people wants to do actually.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. 20-Minute Leaders is a proud supporter of Make-A-Wish Israel and Tech2Peace, and is in proud collaboration with Secret Chord Ventures, J Ventures, Riverside FM, Fusion VC, Birthright Excel, J Impact, Leap, Google for Startups, and Hippo, and in media partnership with CTech. Hello and welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Today I'm with Eric Krzeslo, the CEO of Mintt since 2018, where he brought innovation to market and now scaling it internationally. Prior to Mintt, he co-founded SoftKinetic, inventor of 3D depth sensors and human tracking algorithms. SoftKinetic has been acquired by Sony in 2015. Before SoftKinetic, Eric co-founded 72DPI, an innovative CGI web and entertainment company in the early 2000s. Eric Krzeslo, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders all the way from Brussels. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for hosting me.
It's phenomenal to have you here, Eric, because you're working on something really, really important. You're a serial entrepreneur. You have quite extensive experience. One of your companies, SoftKinetic, sold to Sony in 2015, looking at 3D vision, and you continued along the a similar path in this industry, but leveraging vision for different use cases. And today, doing something truly important, preventing falls of elderly in hospital, nursing homes, and service flats. And so I'm really excited to unpack both your interest and passion for this world of vision and 3D, but then putting it to use in the different use cases like what you're doing today with Mintt, Medical Intelligent Technologies. And so thank you again for being here, Eric. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with 3D vision. How did this whole thing come about?
Well, I think it's really coming from my background as an architect, because that's what I've been studying. And I've always been fascinated by 3D simulations, right? And so that's kind of a natural evolution to go from there to being interested by technologies that can actually see in 3D and have machines capable of understanding what's the environment, what's happening, what are people doing, and stuff like that. So I think it's coming really from there and from my passion for new technologies.
Do you remember when it started your keen interest specifically in 3D? Because there's a lot of different technologies that you can spend time on. Why specifically this?
Well, so again, coming from my architect background, I've been working a lot that was the beginning, like in the early 2000s, beginning of 3D simulations, CG, 3D modeling. That was fascinating to be able to create objects from nothing and being able to feel that you were in there and really experience those new spaces and be really creative in that. And I really wanted to make that type of experience available for as many people as possible. And from there, it's kind of evolved to what kind of technology are available to make sure that the machine can really understand what people wants to do actually.
Yeah.
So that's the other way around, right? To make it really natural. And so we started with my colleagues and co-founders to work on technologies capable of understanding what people are doing actually in a very natural way. And so that's where we've been working with new technology sensors, softwares, and we created SoftKinetic at that time, focusing on entertainment mainly at the beginning. You probably know all the gesture-based gaming that came out a few already like 10 years ago or so. And so, that's really coming from there.
And so SoftKinetic, tell me a little bit about SoftKinetic with Sony, and then what was sort of the vision behind this company, and just a little bit about that journey before we transition to preventing falls for elderly.
Right. Yeah. So it really began with that passion for providing new experiences to people, mainly for entertainment reasons. And so we worked with a lot of entertainment companies like Sony, but also Microsoft and all the video game studios that you may know. And then we worked on a lot of different use cases, not only entertainment, but also broader computer vision for industry. For more B2B applications, professional applications. And so we grew the company really based on developing new sensors technologies, really new type of image sensors, and a lot of software for human tracking and human behavior analysis in many different directions, including for automotive applications like safety in the cabin of the car. Understanding if people are distracted, falling asleep, focused on the road, stuff like that. But also working on adding 3D sensing to mobile applications that you can now find in iPhones, for instance. You've got the 3D perception in iPhones and the face recognition and all of those use cases where it's really important to understand what people are doing and their behaviors. Uh-huh. And so we were really like a tech company and working in a lot of different type of markets. And so came the time where we had a really good development with a couple of companies, including Sony. So that was a natural evolution for SoftKinetic.
Interesting. And so as you now transition with me to Mintt, what happened over the last few years that led to the evolvement of Mintt? Because also the problem space that you're tackling, it's quite an interesting one, and I'm curious as to both why personally you went on this journey, but then how did you conceive of leveraging technologies that you've been a part of and you've been innovating with that are going to make a significant impact as a part of this journey?
Well, actually, the idea came from one of my co-founders in SoftKinetic, actually, who had a family issue with his grandmother falling and being on the floor for a very long time, and which ended badly. And so he had that idea, with that 3D sensing and gesture and human behavior software we could have avoided that situation. And so that was my co-founder who said, let's do something else. We have a great technology. Let's try to make it a product specifically for fall detection and fall prevention for all the people. And I thought, totally makes sense. And I really wanted to start a new company with a focus on, let's say, a product which can be used by a lot of different people. Not only like entertainment or being integrated in more complex devices such cars or mobile devices, but really that's something that we can build from A to Z and that we can sell ourselves and make sure that it's properly used by the seniors and really helping them in having a better life and more independent life.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so now take me a little bit through Mintt's journey. So from inception to today, what's happened? What did you discover? What is the interesting uses of the technology, and where are you at today?
Well, so it really started as a garage work, if I may say so, with another co-founder, our CTO, Frank Krzeslo today, who was really excited by the idea and had a lot of experience in computer vision as well, in electronic and everything related to cloud infrastructure and IoT. And with Thibaut, my other co-founder here, they started really trying out proof concepts in their garage, talking with the healthcare professionals, geriatricians, nurses, therapists, to really understand if that kind of technology could be really useful and deployed in hospitals and nursing homes. And they found out that yes, there was a lot of traction. So, and that's where actually I joined the team, and really bringing that experience of taking like an idea, a nascent technology, turning that into a real product and really starting a real business out of that. And so that's what we did since like 2018 when I joined. We had, we finalized a real proof, a real product, not only a proof concept. That was really important. And we had 2 years of COVID.
What was the first product that you created to validate and to provide value?
Yeah. So that's the famous MVP, the minimum viable product. So that the look was not really nice, but that was doing the job. Like the first sensors were really bulky and coming from industrial market. So, but we wanted really to have it working and prove the use case within a real professional environment. So we worked with a couple of university hospitals to test that out with their collaboration. That was really important to understand how people actually are reacting to the technology and how accurate it can be. So that was really the work from the beginning of the company up to 2018, 19, something like that. And then we turned that into a real product.
I love that. Okay, so that the initial installments of the product, what was that experience like? So you're working with hospitals, you have an MVP. What was the process of actually implementing one of those products in the field and observing the way that it works?
Well, that requires actually a real involvement from the partner, so the hospitals in our case, because we're really focused on having a product and a service that is fully useful for healthcare professionals, which is not a gadget, which is not just something that we believe is going to help people, but our philosophy is really that to be efficient for patient, we first need to be efficient for healthcare professional, because they are the one who are going to use the solution. So it first need to be adopted by them. So that's really where we focused our effort first, and so that meant a lot of involvement from the teams there, and so from there really it was finalizing the product, and after that it's really about optimization, making sure it's easy to use, it's not expensive.
I love that.
Product development.
How do you measure the success of a product like this? In terms of a partner, and how and what was your success matrix the same as theirs? In other words, how did you define with your partners what a successful pilot would be? And then I want to talk a little bit about scaling.
Yeah, sure. So I think, first and foremost, what's the most important is that it really helps patients, right? So that means that the technology needs to be rock solid in terms of detection rate and what we call the sensitivity and the specificity of a device.
Yes.
Making sure that it detects what it needs to detect and not triggering false alarms. So that's really number one. And adoption rate of the users, as I already explained, that's number two. Well, and there, we have statistics about how people are using, or no, the nurses and the caregivers are using the device and the interface and what type of information they are looking at. And so we also worked a lot with that type of metrics, usability, usage, really globally user experience quality.
And when you talk about, were there actual, falls or things that you were able to predict or prevent through the technology that were sort of aha moments as you deployed it initially? How you were mentioning sort of the specificity and you want to optimize for being able to catch those moments. What was there a moment like that proved, okay, this is actually working and we can now deploy this at scale?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Actually, there were two really key findings. First is that we discovered that more than half of the falls were not reported in hospitals.
Really?
For multiple.
Wow.
Yeah. For multiple. That's huge. For multiple reasons, good reasons and bad reasons. Good reasons that people are just falling and standing back up alone, so nobody knows, and they are not. People are not explaining because they don't want to talk about it. Or falls that are fully not notified or noticed by the nurses, because the amount of nurses in the hospitals and nursing home are pretty low, right? There is a big challenge for the care institution right now. It's recruiting. There is no nurse anymore, so that's another reason. Another reason is that it's kind of a manual work for nurses to report all that, and that's a lot of time, a lot of work, and sometimes they don't have the time, or they consider that the fall was not that important, so they don't do it. And so that means that there was a huge lack of information.
Yeah,
and that's really the number one information that a caregiver needs, is to know what's happening.
No,
right?
Of course. Yeah.
Before we do that, that's one of the key things. The second thing that we discovered is that actually caregivers and nurses, they never see a fall. They don't know what a fall is, which is normal. I mean, they are not in the room 24/7. Yeah. So there was a huge lack of information, and that's one of the added value of our solutions, that it gives actually a lot of information about what happened, how did it happen. They can really analyze the situation before, after, and that brings a lot of added value for both the nurse and the patient.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So let's talk about scale. So as we, awesome technology, it works, deployed, gives value. How do you then, as a sort of an entrepreneur now, how do you take it at scale? What does that mean in terms of the organization? What does it mean in terms of the product? What does it mean in terms of the time you're spending on strategy versus product development? That's really interesting.
Yeah. So indeed, that's very interesting. So since the inception of the company and when I joined, our goal was really to put everything in place to be able to scale. So, and you mentioned exactly the three important points. The product needs to be thought for scaling. The business model needs to be thought for scaling, and the organization. The three of them are really key. So since the beginning, we worked on the product, and by using the right technology to be able to scale very fast. So everything related to IoT, cloud, infrastructure. That's really mature technology right now. So our product is really meant to be super easy to deploy anywhere on the planet, as long as you have connectivity, right? And we are using a lot of AI as well, so we can manage a tremendous amount of data. That's really on the product side. In terms of business model and organization, we also developed and deployed the easiest business model you can think about, which is subscription, right? So it's super easy, just subscribe to the service, and and you get your service up and running in no time. And in terms of organization, we also focused on making sure we can operate anywhere on the planet from our office here. So and that, I must say, the pandemic helped us a little bit, because everyone started to be more comfortable with working remotely instead of being on site and with physical meetings all the time. So I think we're really fully now set up to scale pretty fast, and that's actually what's happening right now.
And from the customer's perspective, the willingness for adoption, the need, is that something that you feel that the market is ready, it's ripe for it? Do you feel that it requires a lot of explanations and selling, or is it something that's pretty smooth sailing in terms of the implementation?
Right. So actually, it's both good and still difficult, of course.
Yep.
And well, again, the pandemic really helped everyone to understand that there is a mandatory need for remote solutions, remote monitoring, being able to be much more agile in terms of adopting new technologies. Well, traditionally, healthcare environment are pretty prudent before adopting new technology, but here the pandemic helped in a sense. The shortage of caregiver personnel and nurses personnel, that also really helped. I mean, we're answering that challenge with new technologies. That really helps the nursing teams. Well, so yes, there is a very good momentum for adopting more easily that kind of technologies.
What do you enjoy most about this journey? If you're looking at the last 4 years and where you're headed, what really is it that you enjoy most?
I think there are really two things. First, and really that's what really drives everyone here at Mintt, is when we get a phone call or an email from nurses or patients saying, "Okay, guys, you really helped. Without you, that person would probably not be in that situation right now." I mean, that's really the driver for everyone here. And I'm personally not coming from the medical world, so I kind of discovered that. And nurses are really heroes, if I may say so. That's really a tough job, and every caregiver. Actually.
You see it firsthand now, and you can see it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, sure. So that's really the driver. The second driver for me personally is really probably coming from my architect background as well. Is really to go from like an idea on paper to something which is real, that people are really using and enjoying. When you are building a house or any kind of building, it's first a sketch on the paper, and then you really have people living in it and enjoying what you imagine.
I love it. Eric, thank you so much for your time, for the awesome work that you're doing. It's very meaningful, and I love the interaction of the way that you're implementing these technologies into real needs and real places, and actually providing value. And it sounds like it's starting from the garage to the MVP to scaling, and with COVID in between, sounds like a really healthy journey. So thank you very much for taking this time to share with me and share with me the story. And I can't wait to see Mintt adopted in as many rooms as possible to help elderly. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.